Hey everyone, it's Elmarie here, Callsign KJ5LXP, and for today's video, I just wanted to go through some quick update. If you didn't know already, I have purchased my first HF radio. It's actually quite something special. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, really debating my options, but I've narrowed down to my first purchase for an HF radio. Let me go grab it. That's right, everyone. I have purchased the IC7300 Mark II. If you've known this already, congratulations, you've been following along on my channel. I've actually posted this announcement that I acquired the 7300 Mark II on my Instagram. I post a little bit more casually on there, so if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely go follow me on Instagram, and it's actually been featured in a couple of my videos already, so that's super cool if you caught that. Yeah, this is my first HF rig. After using the 705 for a little while, I just felt like it was time for me to really dive in and get something more powerful, more reliable, more consistent when it comes to power output. 705 is great. 5 watts is phenomenal, but as something for a home base station, I needed something a little bit beefier. And so I decided and contemplated over to the 7300 Mark II, and yeah, that's what I decided to go with. And I'm really excited to get to know the radio. I have a lot to learn. I've just kind of gone through the basics with it at this time, just like normal phone operating, and then did some FT8 on it. Love that the ICOM radios have like a preset option for FT8. It makes it so much easier. I also just got my first keyer, so I'm excited to learn more Morse. Let me do a quick unboxing video for you guys. Let's cue to that. Alright, first things first. Classic ICOM packaging. Clean labeling right on the box. Very professional. As soon as you open it, you're greeted with the manuals sitting right on top. There are 3 included. Typically English, Spanish, and French. I actually love that ICOM includes full-size manuals. They're easy to flip through and great to keep in the shack. Underneath the manuals, you'll find the included accessories. You've got your connector adapters, and then your DC power cable. This is the standard ICOM power cable, the 4-pin connector on one end that plugs into the back of the radio, and open wire leads on the other end for your power supply. And of course, the microphone. This is the standard 8-pin ICOM hand mic. It feels great in the hand, it's sturdy, well built, and exactly the professional quality you expect from ICOM. Now, let's get to the main event. The radio comes well protective, typically inside a plastic sleeve and supported underneath. I removed the wrapping for the video, but it's securely packed at the bottom of the box. And here it is, the IC7300 Mark II. I really love this form factor. It feels solid in your hand and very much the professional ICOM build quality. One small detail I really like, there's a built-in kickstand on the bottom. You can flip it out to angle the radio upward, which makes operating much more comfortable. It slightly lifts the front panel and makes everything easier to see and adjust. Overall first impressions, it's solid, clean, and professional. I'm genuinely excited to get this on the air. Now that we've got it out of the box, let's talk about what it's actually capable of. This is a 100 watt HF and 6 meter transceiver, covering all the major HF amateur bands, plus 50 megahertz. If you're in Europe, there's even a 70 megahertz version available. On receive, frequency coverage runs from about 30 kilohertz all the way up to nearly 75 megahertz. So it's not just an HF rig, it's also a very capable general coverage receiver. On transmit, you're getting up to 100 watts on HF and 6 meters, and up to 25 watts on AM. One of the biggest upgrades here is the built-in USB Type-C connectivity with dual virtual COM ports and audio in and out. That means one cable handles both cat control and digital audio. No external sound cards required. It keeps your system clean, simple, and modern. The built-in automatic antenna tuner covers 1.8 through 70 megahertz and can match roughly a 3:1 SWR. It also remembers previous tuning settings, so band changes are quick and painless. Physically, it runs on 13.8 volts DC, pulls about 21 amps on transmit at full power, and about 0.7 amps on receive standby. It weighs about 9 pounds, so it's solid but still very manageable for a base station setup. So overall, you're getting full power HF performance, modern connectivity, strong receiver specs, and a compact footprint. That's a pretty impressive package. A couple updates on this channel. I am going to be attending Huntsville this year in August. I'm super excited to go. This will probably be my first big ham fest. I've done like one local ham fest. I'm super excited for Huntsville. I know Huntsville is like coined the friendliest ham fest. I'm debating on Dayton right now just due to plane tickets. They're quite expensive in like the $600 range. I'm watching those plane tickets every day, so I hope to see an opportunity to purchase one fun, but again, it just depends on that price range right now. It's about $600 from DFW to Dayton, Ohio at this time. So yeah, that's a lot of money for me at this time. So we'll see with the conflicts that I have around that. For this summer, I am going to be going into Chicago Basin in the San Juan National Forest. This will be a grand backpacking trip that I'll be attending with my dad and my husband. I've never been into the Chicago Basin before. It's in the Durango, Colorado area. But what we'll be doing is that we'll be we'll be taking the train from Durango Silverton. I believe it's called the Durango Silverton narrow gauge train. We'll be taking that train until Needleton, and then we'll be backpacking and hiking in the Chicago Basin area. So lots of soda content for the summer. I'm really excited because these will be like the first 14ers that I'll have ever summited. And it's gonna be a challenge. I don't know what to expect. I have no idea what gear to bring. I mean, I've done a couple of others, but I don't know what backpacking sodas will look like. So if you have any recommendations or suggestions when it comes to your soda gear, especially if you're backpacking out in the wilderness. So if you have any options or recommendations, definitely let me know in the comments. Another announcement that I want to make is that I will be participating in the YLWWA award event. It's a 1-week event where hunters come and hunt YLs, and so there'll be like lots of YLs activating all around the world. I'm going to be a participant in it, and I'm excited to participate in this. So many other YL activators have already signed up, so if you haven't heard of it yet, check it out. It's called YLWWA. It's via Ham Award or Ham Connect, one of the two. I'll probably do like a whatchamacallit, screen recording of the event with all the other call signs that are participating. So it's a worldwide event where hunters for a week go try to hunt as many wild stations as I can, and I'm really excited to like casually be a part of this contest. It's not a singular day event, it's a week-long event, so that makes it more fun, more inviting, and more like generally available for more wilds and more contacts. Yeah, everyone, quick update on what's going on and what I'm looking forward to in the future. I'm really excited for all the events that I have mentioned. Hopefully I can make it to Dayton, but you know, we'll see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.